The alien ship drifted through space like a dying whale. Its silver hull, once bright and beautiful, now showed ugly black scars from weapon fire. Inside the ship, called Harmony's Light, Captain Veltar pressed his thin blue fingers against the communication panel. His large purple eyes filled with tears as he looked at the damage reports. "All engines are dead," reported his second officer, Zanara. Her voice shook with fear. "The pirates destroyed our main power core. We cannot move. We cannot fight. We can only send signals and hope someone will help us." Veltar nodded slowly. His people, the Zephrians, had never been fighters. They were gentle creatures who loved art and music. They spent their days making beautiful things and talking about peaceful ideas. War was something they read about in old books, not something they lived through. "How many ships attacked us?" Veltar asked. 3 Korthok raiders," Zanara answered. "They came from nowhere. They wanted to take our people as slaves for their mining worlds. When we refused to surrender, they shot at us." Veltar looked around the bridge. 20 of his crew members worked at their stations, trying to keep the ship alive. All of them were scared. Behind them, through the ship, 50,000 Zephrian refugees waited in the passenger areas. These people had left their dying home world hoping to find a new place to live in peace. Now they might all die in the cold darkness of space. "Send a distress call," Veltar ordered. "Send it to everyone. Maybe someone kind will hear us and come to help." Far away on a blue and green planet called Earth, Admiral Kate Morrison sat in her office at the Terran Defense Command. She was a tough woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She had been a soldier for 30 years. Her desk was covered with reports about space patrols and enemy movements. A young officer named Lieutenant Dan Rogers rushed into her office. "Admiral, we just picked up an alien distress signal. It's coming from the Outer Rim sector." Kate looked up from her papers. "Aliens? Are you sure it's not pirates trying to trick us?" "No, ma'am. Dr. Ryan Cole in the language department says it's real. The message is in a language we've never heard before, but our computers are working on it." Kate stood up and walked to the big window that looked out over the spaceport. She could see human warships landing and taking off. Earth had been fighting wars for hundreds of years, first against each other, then against alien enemies who wanted to take their planet. Humans had learned to be very good at fighting. "Tell Dr. Cole to bring me that translation as soon as he has it," Kate said. 20 minutes later, Dr. Ryan Cole knocked on Kate's door. Ryan was a thin man with thick glasses who spent most of his time studying alien languages. Looked excited, but also worried. "Admiral, I've got the translation," Ryan said, holding up a datapad. "These aliens are in serious trouble. They call themselves Zephrians. Their ship is damaged, and they can't move. They're asking for what they call gentle assistance from any nearby ships." Kate read the translation on the pad. The message was very polite and formal. It thanked anyone who might help and promised to pay for any aid given. But what caught Kate's attention were the warnings. "Look at this part," Kate said, pointing to the screen. "They say they cannot survive in harsh environments or dangerous situations. They ask that any rescuers please be careful and gentle, because their people are fragile." Ryan nodded. "Yes, that's strange. It's like they expect everyone in space to be as weak as they are. They've no idea that other species might be stronger or more dangerous." Kate walked to her wall map that showed all the space around Earth. She found the Outer Rim sector where the signal came from, that it was far away. In a dangerous area controlled by pirates and criminals? "Who do we have in that area?" Kate asked. "The battlecruiser Relentless is on patrol about 6 hours away from the distress signal," Ryan answered. "Captain Lisa Parker's in command." Kate smiled. Lisa Parker was one of her best captains. She was young but tough, and her crew had fought in many battles against Earth's enemies. If anyone could help these aliens and survive the dangerous Outer Rim, it was Lisa. "Send a message to Captain Parker," Kate ordered. "Tell her about the distress call and give her permission to investigate. But tell her to be careful. That area is crawling with Korthok pirates." On the battlecruiser Relentless, Captain Lisa. Parker read the message from Earth. She was a tall woman with short brown hair and bright green eyes. She had scars on her hands from old battles, and she carried a pistol on her belt, even while on her own ship. Around her on the bridge, her crew worked at their stations. "What do you think, Chief?" Lisa asked her chief engineer, Bob Martinez. Bob was a big man with dark skin and strong arms. He had been fixing human warships for 15 years. "Like these aliens are in real trouble, Captain," Bob said. "But that area is Korthok territory. Those lizard pirates don't like it when other people come into their space." Lisa looked at her tactical officer, Amy Walsh. Amy was a small woman with red hair, but she was one of the best fighters in the human fleet. She knew everything about weapons and battle tactics. "Amy, what are our chances if we run into Korthok ships?" Lisa asked. Amy smiled. "Captain, the Relentless can handle anything the Korthok throw at us. Their ships are big, but slow. Their weapons are old, and they're not very smart fighters." Lisa made her decision. Set course for the distress signal. Maximum speed. The ship ready for battle. "If we're going into Korthok space, we better be ready for a fight." The Relentless turned toward the outer rim and began moving faster. Its powerful engines pushed the ship through space at incredible speed. Inside the ship, the crew got ready for whatever they might find. Meanwhile, the dying Zephrian ship, Captain Veltar waited and hoped. He did not know that help was coming. He did not know that the help would come from a species that his people would find terrifying. He did not know that humans came from a world so dangerous that most aliens called it a death world, a place where life should not be possible. Veltar only knew that his people were scared and helpless. He sat in his command chair and watched the stars, hoping that someone kind and gentle would hear their call for help. He had no idea that the beings coming to save them were the same ones that other aliens feared most in all the galaxy. The Relentless flew through space toward the distress signal. On board, Captain Lisa Parker and her crew prepared their weapons and planned their rescue mission. They had no idea that they were about to meet aliens who had never seen real violence before. They had no idea that their normal human behavior would seem incredibly dangerous and frightening to peaceful creatures from gentler worlds. Both ships moved toward their meeting in space, neither knowing how much their first contact would change everything for both their species and for the entire galaxy. The Relentless dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the distress signal location. Captain Lisa Parker stood on her bridge and looked at the main screen. What she saw made her angry. 3 ugly gray ships surrounded a beautiful silver vessel. The gray ships were Korthok raiders, and they were shooting energy beams at the silver ship. The silver ship was not shooting back. It just floated there, taking the punishment like a helpless animal. "Those must be our aliens," said Amy Walsh from her weapons station. "And those are definitely Korthok pirates beating them up." "Up!" Bob Martinez checked his engineering displays. "Captain, the alien ship's engines are completely dead. They can't run even if they wanted to. The Korthok are just playing with them now." Lisa felt her jaw tighten. She hated bullies, and the Korthok were the worst kind of bullies in space. They attacked weak ships, stole cargo, and took prisoners to sell as slaves. She had fought them many times before. "Open a channel to the Korthok." "Ships," Lisa ordered. The main screen changed to show a big lizard-like creature sitting in a command chair. His green scales were covered with scars, and his yellow eyes glowed with mean intelligence. This was Scarhide, a Korthok commander who was known throughout the Outer Rim for his cruelty. "What do you want, human?" Scarhide asked. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "This is Korthok space. You do not belong here. I want you to stop attacking that ship and leave this area," Lisa said calmly. "Those people sent out a distress call, and we're here to help them." Scarhide laughed. It was a horrible sound that made Lisa's crew uncomfortable. "You think you can order us around? There is only 1 human ship and 3 Korthok ships. You are outnumbered. Leave now, or we will destroy you after we finish with these weak creatures." Lisa looked around her bridge. Her crew was watching her, waiting for orders. Amy had her hand on the weapons controls. Bob was ready to give the engines full power. Everyone was calm but ready for a fight. "I'll give you one more chance," Lisa said to Scarhide. "Leave those people alone and get out of here. Final warning." Scarhide showed his sharp teeth in an ugly smile. "Stupid human. We Korthok have been fighting in space since before your species learned to make fire. Your little ship cannot hurt us. Watch as we show you what real power looks like. The communication channel closed. On the main screen, Lisa could see the 3 Korthok ships turning toward the Relentless. Their weapon ports began to glow as they charged their energy cannons. Red alert, Lisa announced to her ship. All hands to battle stations. Amy, target the lead ship. Bob, give me everything the engines have got. The Relentless moved forward to meet the Korthok attack. Inside the ship, human crew members ran. To their positions, they loaded weapons, checked shields, and prepared for combat. This was what they had trained for their whole lives. On the Zephrian ship, Harmony's Light, Captain Veltar watched the approaching battle with horror. He had never seen real warships fight before. The human ship looked small compared to the 3 Korthok raiders, but it moved with deadly purpose. The humans are going to fight for us, whispered Zanara, but they will be destroyed. 3 ships. Against 1 is impossible odds. Veltar felt sick. These strange beings had come to help his people, and now they would die because of it. He wished he could tell them to run away and save themselves. The first Korthok ship fired its main cannon at the Relentless. The energy beam was bright and powerful, enough to destroy most ships with 1 hit. But the human ship moved aside at the last second, and the beam missed completely. Return fire. Lisa ordered DOT. Amy pressed her weapons button. The Relentless fired back, but not with energy beams. Instead, it shot solid metal projectiles at incredible speed. The humans called them kinetic rounds, and they hit the Korthak ship like invisible hammers. The Korthak ship's shields flashed and failed. The metal projectiles punched through the hull and exploded inside. In seconds, the mighty raider was a floating wreck with fires burning inside its broken shell. Scarhide stared at his screen in shock. Impossible. How did they destroy Warclaw so quickly? His second officer was equally confused. Commander, they used solid projectiles instead of energy weapons. Our shields were not designed to stop such primitive attacks. But there was nothing primitive about human weapons. Earth was a dangerous world where creatures had fought and killed each other for millions of years. Humans had learned to make weapons that actually worked, not just weapons that looked impressive. The second Korthok ship tried to attack from the side, but the Relentless spun around faster than the pirates thought possible. Bob Martinez pushed the engine so hard that the ship pulled forces that would have killed most alien species, but humans had evolved in strong gravity, and they could handle the pressure. Amy fired again. This time she used nuclear torpedoes. The small missiles flew through space and exploded against the Korthok ship's hull. The nuclear fire burned through metal like it was paper. 2 down, Amy reported calmly. 1 to go. Scarhide was no longer. Laughing, his remaining ship tried to run away, but the human ship was much faster. The Relentless caught up easily and disabled the Korthok engines with precise weapon fire. This is Captain Parker of the human battlecruiser Relentless. Lisa announced over the radio. Surrender now or be destroyed. Scarhide looked at his ruined fleet and made his choice. We surrender. Please do not kill us. Smart decision, Lisa said. Now get out of this system and never come back. If I see you attacking innocent people again, I won't be so generous. The damaged Korthok ship limped away as fast as it's broken. Engines could carry it. Scarhide and his surviving crew would spread word throughout the Outer Rim about the terrifying humans who fought like demons and showed no fear. On the Zephrian ship, Veltar and his crew watched in amazement. The battle that had seemed impossible was over in less than 10 minutes. The humans had won so easily that it looked like they were just playing a game. How did they do that? Zanara asked in a whisper. 3 ships against 1, and they made. It looked simple. Veltar shook his head. He had no answer. His people had thought all spacefaring species were gentle and civilized like themselves. The idea that some beings could be so good at violence was completely new to him. The human ship moved closer to Harmony's Light. Lisa opened a communication channel. Her face appeared on the Zephrian screens. She looked calm and friendly. Not like someone who had just destroyed 2 warships and scared away a third. This is Captain Lisa Parker. she said with a smile. "We received your distress call. Are you hurt? Do you need medical help?" Veltar stared at the human woman. She was taller and more solid-looking than any Zephrian. Her eyes were bright and alert, like a predator watching for danger. When she smiled, he could see her white teeth, which looked very sharp to him. We are not seriously injured," Veltar managed to say. "But our engines are broken. We cannot move our ship." "No problem," Lisa said. "We'll send over a repair team to fix you up. My chief engineer Bob Martinez is really good at this stuff. Don't worry, we'll have you moving again in no time." Veltar felt relief and fear at the same time. These humans had saved his people, but they were unlike anything he had ever imagined. They treated deadly combat like routine work, and they spoke of violence as casually as Zephrians talked about art. What kind of beings were these humans, he wondered? And what kind of world had created such powerful and dangerous creatures who used their strength to help strangers in need? Dr. Ryan Cole stepped through the airlock between the two ships. He was part of the human repair team that Captain Parker sent to help fix the alien vessel. Behind him came Bob Martinez with his toolkit, and medic Jenny Clark with her medical supplies. All three humans wore their normal work clothes and carried their usual equipment. The Zephrians who met them at the airlock door took several steps backward. To human eyes, the aliens looked like tall, thin people with blue skin and large purple eyes. But to the Zephrians, the humans looked like massive, heavily built creatures who moved with dangerous grace. "Welcome to our ship," Captain Veltar said in careful English. His voice was soft and musical, very different from human speech. "We are grateful for your help, but please move slowly. Our people are not used to beings like you." Ryan smiled and tried to look friendly. "Don't worry, Captain. We're here to help. I'm Dr. Ryan Cole, the language specialist. This is Bob Martinez, our engineer, and Jenny Clark, our medic." Veltar nodded nervously. Even when the humans tried to look harmless, they still seemed frightening to him. Their eyes moved constantly, watching everything around them. Their hands stayed near the tools and weapons on their belts. Everything about them suggested they were ready for trouble at any moment. "If you could show Bob to your engine room, he can start working on your power systems," Ryan said. As they walked through the ship, Bob looked around at the alien technology. The corridors were wide and painted in soft colors. Everything was smooth and gentle, with no sharp edges or hard surfaces. Peaceful music played quietly from hidden speakers. "This is nice," Bob said. "Very artistic. But where are your security cameras? Your weapon storage? Your emergency blast doors?" Veltar looked confused. "Why would we need such things? This is a passenger ship carrying families. We do not expect violence or danger inside our own vessel." Bob and Ryan exchanged glances. On human ships, security was everywhere. Cameras watched every corridor. Weapons were stored in easy-to-reach locations. Emergency systems could seal off damaged sections in seconds. The idea of a ship without defenses was completely foreign to them. In the engine room, Bob examined the damaged power core. "This is beautiful work," he told the Zephrian engineers. "Very efficient design, but it's also very fragile. One good hit, and the whole system shuts down." "We built it for efficiency and beauty," explained the chief engineer, a female Zephrian named Kelanara. "We never expected anyone to shoot at us. Why would anyone want to hurt peaceful travelers?" Bob scratched his head. "Wait till where I come from. If you travel through dangerous space without good shields and backup power systems, you don't travel very long." While Bob worked on the engines, Jenny Clark set up a medical station to check on injured Zephrians. Her first patient was a young alien who had been hurt when the pirates attacked. Jenny used her scanner to examine him. "Interesting," Jenny said to herself. "Very interesting. What is wrong?" asked the patient nervously. "Nothing's wrong," Jenny said with a smile. "I'm just surprised by your biology. Your bones are very light, like bird bones. Your muscle density is much lower than humans, and your skin is incredibly thin." The patient looked worried. "Are we sick? Are we malformed?" No, Jenny said quickly. "You're perfectly healthy for your species. It's just that humans are built very differently. We come from a heavy gravity world with lots of dangers, so we evolved to be much stronger and tougher." Word spread through the Zephrian ship about the human medic's observations. Soon, a group of curious aliens gathered around Jenny's station. They asked her questions about human biology, and her answers amazed them. "You have two hearts?" asked one, Zephrian in shock. "Well, sort of," Jenny explained. "We have one main heart, but we also have backup systems that can keep us alive if the main one gets damaged. And we have 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, extra blood vessels, redundant nerve pathways. Why would you need backup organs?" another alien asked. "Because things go wrong," Jenny said simply. "Humans get hurt a lot. We fall from high places. We get sick. We fight predators. We have accidents. Our bodies learn to have spare parts." Meanwhile, in another part of the ship, Ryan Cole was talking with Captain Veltar about their respective worlds. The conversation was not going well. "Your planet Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world in our databases," Veltar said, reading from a computer screen. "Our scientists believe that no intelligent life could possibly survive on such a hostile environment." "Hostile?" Ryan asked. "Earth's not that bad. Here we have some dangerous animals, bad weather, earthquakes, volcanoes, diseases, and toxic plants, but you learn to deal with it." Veltar's large eyes grew even larger. "You consider that not that bad?" "Our world had gentle breezes, soft rains, and peaceful plant-eating creatures. The most dangerous thing on our planet was falling from a tree." "What did you do for fun?" Ryan asked. "We created art, composed music, wrote poetry, and meditated on the beauty of existence," Veltar replied. "That sounds nice," Ryan said. "Humans do that too, but we also have sports where we try to hurt each other, games where we pretend to fight wars, and we like to climb dangerous mountains just to see if we can do it." Veltar felt dizzy. These humans seemed to enjoy danger. They actually sought out risky activities for entertainment. It was like discovering that your rescuers were polite, helpful monsters who smiled while they did impossible things. In the engine room, Bob was making good progress on the repairs, but his casual conversation with the Zephrian engineers was causing similar shock. "Yeah, I fell off a cliff when I was 12, Bob said while working on a power coupling. "Broke my leg, cracked 3 ribs, and got a concussion. I was back playing soccer in 2 months. Kellanara stared at him. "You fell off a cliff and survived. How high was this cliff?" "Oh, maybe 30 feet, Bob said, not looking up from his work. "Not too bad. My brother Jimmy fell off a higher one when he was 10, but he landed in water, so he was okay." 30 feet would kill a Zephrian instantly, Kellanara whispered. "And you call this not too bad?" Bob finally looked up and saw the horror in her eyes. "Hey, don't worry about it. Humans are just built tough. We have to be. Earth tries to kill us pretty much every day." "Your world tries to kill you?" another engineer asked. "Sure," Bob said cheerfully. "Poisonous snakes, angry bears, deadly storms, diseases, natural disasters, bad food, hostile climate. You name it, Earth's got it. That's why we're so hard to kill. Natural selection, you know?" The Zephrians did not know. On their world, the biggest danger had been eating too much sweet fruit and getting a stomachache. The concept of a planet that actively tried to murder its inhabitants was completely beyond their understanding. Back on the Relentless, Captain Parker received reports from her team. Amy Walsh came to her with interesting news. "Captain, our people are causing quite a stir over there," Amy said. "The aliens are scared, fascinated, and grateful all at the same time. They can't believe we actually volunteered to come help them." "Why wouldn't we help them?" Lisa asked. "Because they think we're the most dangerous species in the galaxy," Amy replied. "To them, coming to rescue strangers in hostile territory is like jumping into a volcano to save someone. They can't understand why we'd risk our lives for people we've never met." Lisa thought about this. "What do they do when someone needs help?" "They send a polite message asking other people to help," Amy said. "They don't actually go themselves. The idea of personally fighting pirates to rescue strangers is completely crazy to them." Over the next few hours, as the repairs continued, both species learned more about each other. The humans discovered that Zephrians had never developed. Weapons had no concept of military service and believed that all intelligent species were naturally peaceful. The Zephrians learned that humans carried weapons even during rescue missions, that they had professional soldiers whose job was fighting. and that they considered war to be a normal part of life. "This is very troubling," Veltar said to his senior staff. "These humans are incredibly dangerous, but they use their power to help others. They are like gentle predators, if such a thing is possible. Should we be afraid of them?" asked Zinara. Veltar watched through a window as Bob Martinez laughed. While telling another story about surviving some deadly Earth disaster, "I think," he said slowly, "that we should be very grateful they're on our side." Scarhide slammed his clawed fist on the command table of his flagship. Round him, the bridge crew of his war vessel Iron Fang watched nervously. The Korthok commander was in a rage, and when Scarhide was angry, people usually died. "Those cursed humans made me look like a fool," he growled. "Word is spreading through every pirate base in the sector. They say Scarhide ran away from one small human ship. My reputation is ruined." His second-in-command, a scarred Korthok named Razorteeth, tried to calm him down. "Commander, perhaps we should avoid the humans. They proved to be more dangerous than we expected." Scarhide turned his yellow eyes on Razorteeth. "Are you a coward? The Korthok have ruled this sector for 50 years. No upstart species is going to chase us away from our hunting grounds." He walked to the communications station and opened a channel to all Korthok bases in the area. "This is Scarhide. I am calling for a full war fleet. 12 ships, heavy weapons, maximum crew. We are going to destroy those humans and take their alien pets as slaves." Within hours, Korthok ships began arriving at the meeting point. These were not the small raiders that had attacked the Zephrians before. These were proper warships with thick armor and powerful weapons. Each ship carried 300 Korthok warriors, who had been fighting in space for decades. On the Relentless, Bob Martinez was putting the finishing touches on the Zephrian engine repairs. The alien power core was working again, and Harmony's light could fly under its own power. But the ship was still slow and had no weapons. "That should do it," Bob told Captain Veltar. "Your engines are running at 90% efficiency. Not bad for emergency repairs." "Cannot thank you enough," Veltar said. "You have saved 50,000 lives. Our people will remember your kindness forever." Bob smiled. "Just doing our job. Though I'd suggest you get some better shields and maybe a few weapons if you're going to travel through dangerous space." Veltar looked uncomfortable. "We are not fighters. Do not believe in violence. Perhaps we should simply avoid dangerous areas." "That's one way to do it," Bob agreed. But sometimes danger comes looking for you, whether you want it or not." Captain Parker was on the bridge of the Relentless when Amy Walsh looked up from her sensor station with a worried expression. I'm picking up multiple contacts on long-range sensors. 12 ships approaching fast from the direction of Korthok space." Lisa felt her stomach tighten. "Korthok. Yes, ma'am. These aren't raiders. These are heavy warships." "It looks like Scarhide went home and got his friends." Lisa looked at the tactical display. 12 enemy ships against one human vessel. Even with their superior technology, those were not good odds. She opened a communication channel to Earth Command. "Admiral Morrison, this is Captain Parker. We have a situation here." Kate Morrison's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired and stressed. "What's your status, Lisa?" "We successfully rescued the alien ship, but now we have 12 Korthok warships heading our way. They want revenge for the earlier fight. The nearest human fleet is weeks away, isn't it?" Kate nodded grimly. "Afraid so. The Fifth Fleet is dealing with Centauri rebels on the other side of our territory. Can you run?" Lisa looked at the Zephrian ship floating nearby. "The aliens can travel now, but they're slow. Korthok ships will catch us before we can reach safe space. And even if we could run, these people saved our lives. I'm not going to abandon them." "I understand," Kate said. "Do what you can, Lisa, and good luck." The communication ended. Lisa looked around her bridge at her crew. They were all watching her, waiting for orders. These people had served with her through many battles. They trusted her to find a way out of impossible situations. "Amy, what do we have to work with?" Lisa asked. Amy checked her tactical systems. "We're outnumbered 12-1, but we do have some advantages. We're faster and more maneuverable. Our weapons are more accurate, and there's a large asteroid field about 2 hours away." Bob's voice came over the intercom from the engine room. "Captain, I can give you everything the engines have." "You need more power for weapons." I can divert it from non-essential systems. Lisa nodded. Ryan, contact the Zephrian ship. Tell them what's happening and ask if there's any way they can help. A few minutes later, Captain Veltar appeared on the main screen. His purple eyes were wide with fear, but his voice was steady. Captain Parker, we heard about the approaching enemy fleet. This is our fault. You should leave us and save yourselves. It's not happening, Lisa said firmly. We don't abandon people who need help. Besides, you might be able to assist us. Ship has very advanced sensors, doesn't it? Yes, Veltar said. Our sensor arrays are designed for deep space navigation and scientific research. They are much more sensitive than military sensors. Perfect, Lisa said. If we can link our tactical systems to your sensors, we'll have a huge advantage in tracking enemy movements. Dr. Ryan Cole worked with the Zephrian technicians to connect the two ships' computer systems. It was tricky work, since human and alien technology was very different. But both species were intelligent, and they managed to create a working link. Systems connected, Ryan reported. We now have access to their sensor data. The resolution is incredible. We can track individual objects as small as a person at extreme range. Meanwhile, Jenny Clark was treating some Zephrians who had been injured in the original pirate attack. As she worked, she talked with them about the coming battle. Are you not afraid? Asked one patient, a young Zephrian male named Keithan. Of course I'm afraid, Jenny said as she bandaged his arm. Fear keeps you alive in dangerous situations. But being afraid doesn't mean you give up or run away. We Zephrians would run if we could, Keithan admitted. We are not brave like humans, Jenny smiled. You're braver than you think. You left your dying homeworld to find a new life in unknown space. That took courage. Now you're staying to help us instead of asking us to take you somewhere safe. That's pretty brave, too. On the bridge, Lisa studied the tactical situation. The Korthok fleet was still several hours away, but they were coming fast. She needed a plan that would let one ship fight 12 and somehow win. Amy, tell me about those asteroids, Lisa said. Amy brought up a display of the asteroid field. It's a dense cluster, roughly 50 kilometers across. Lots of large rocks, some of them several kilometers in diameter. Navigation would be tricky, but we could use them for cover. What about the Korthok? How do they usually fight? Lisa asked. They prefer direct confrontation, Amy replied. Big ships, heavy weapons, straight-head attacks. They're not subtle, and they don't like complicated tactics. Lisa began to form a plan. It was risky and would require perfect timing, but it might work. Bob, can you make our ship look damaged? Bob's voice came over the intercom. Sure, Captain. What do you have in mind? I want to make them think we're running scared toward that asteroid field. When they follow us in, we'll show them that humans don't fight fair. Captain Veltar watched the human crew prepare for battle. Despite being outnumbered, they seemed confident and focused. They checked their weapons, reviewed their plans, and made final preparations with the calm efficiency of people who had done this many times before. I do not understand, Veltar said to Zenara. How can they be so calm when facing certain death? Perhaps death is not certain for them, Zenara replied. These humans seem to have a different relationship with danger than we do. They act like violence is just another problem to be solved. The Korthok fleet was getting closer. Soon the battle would begin. In a few hours they would discover whether human cleverness and determination could overcome overwhelming odds, or whether even Deathworld warriors had limits to what they could accomplish. The Korthok war fleet arrived at the asteroid field like a pack of hungry wolves. Scarhide stood on the bridge of his flagship Iron Fang and smiled at what he saw. The human ship Relentless was limping through the rocks, trailing sparks and leaking atmosphere. It looked badly damaged and desperate. They are trying to hide among the asteroids like frightened children, Scarhide laughed. All ships, follow them in. We will crush them against the rocks and take our prizes. But the damage to the Relentless was fake. Bob Martinez had rigged some harmless sparks and gas leaks to make the ship appear wounded. Inside, the human crew was ready for battle. Captain Lisa Parker watched her tactical display as the Korthok ships entered the asteroid field. There. Taking the bait, Amy Walsh reported. All 12 ships are following us into the field. They're staying in a tight formation. Perfect, Lisa said. That's exactly what we want. Ryan, are you getting good sensor data from our Zephrian friends? Yes, ma'am, Ryan Cole answered. Their sensors are tracking every asteroid, every ship, every piece of space debris. We can see things the Korthok can't even imagine. On the Zephrian ship Harmony's Light, Captain Veltar and his crew watched the human plan unfold. They did not understand military tactics, but they could see that the humans were not running away. They were leading their enemies into a trap. The humans move through the asteroids like they belong here, observed Zanara. They are not afraid of the rocks. They are not afraid of anything, Veltar replied. I think that is what makes them so dangerous. The first part of Lisa's plan began when the Korthok fleet was deep inside the asteroid field. She had bob-cut the fake damage effects and pushed the Relentless to full speed. The human ship suddenly accelerated and disappeared behind a large asteroid. What happened? Scarhide roared. Where did they go? His sensor operator checked his displays. Commander, they just vanished. Our sensors cannot track them through all these rocks. But the humans could track the Korthok ships perfectly, thanks to the Zephrian sensors. Amy targeted the rear ship in the enemy formation and fired a spread of nuclear torpedoes. The missiles flew through the asteroid field following a path that only the combined human-Sephorian sensors could calculate. The Korthok ship. Thunderstrike exploded in a ball of nuclear fire. The other Korthok commanders shouted in confusion as they realized they were under attack from an invisible enemy. Spread out, Scarhide ordered. Find them. But spreading out in the asteroid field was exactly what Lisa wanted. When the Korthok ships separated, they became easier targets. The Relentless appeared from behind another asteroid and destroyed a second ship with kinetic rounds before vanishing again. This is impossible, screamed the commander of the ship Deathclaw. How can one ship fight all of us? The answer was that the humans were not fighting like the Korthok expected. Instead of facing their enemies in open battle, they used the asteroids like a three-dimensional maze. They appeared, attacked, and disappeared before the Korthok could respond. Bob Martinez had another surprise ready. He had programmed some mining charges to turn asteroids into weapons. When a Korthok ship passed near a prepared rock, Bob detonated. The charges, asteroid broke apart and sent huge chunks of stone flying at incredible speed. The ship Warhammer was hit by 3 asteroid fragments and broke apart. Its crew never knew what killed them. Commander Razorteeth said to Scarhide, We have lost 4 ships and have not even seen the human vessel clearly. Perhaps we should retreat. Scarhide's yellow eyes burned with rage. No, we are Korthok warriors. You do not run from one human ship, no matter how clever they are. But cleverness was exactly what the humans were using. On Earth, animals had to be clever to survive. Humans had learned to hunt prey that was bigger and stronger than they were. They used tools, traps, and teamwork to overcome enemies that should have been able to kill them easily. The Relentless struck again, this time using a tactic that horrified the Korthok. Lisa flew her ship directly at an enemy vessel as if she planned to ram it. The Korthok ship tried to dodge, but crashed into an asteroid instead. At the last second, the human ship pulled away in a turn so sharp it should have killed everyone on board, but humans had evolved on a high-gravity world. The forces that would crush other species just made the human crew feel heavy. They stayed conscious and kept fighting while their enemies died from the acceleration. How are they doing that? Asked the captain of Bloodfang as he watched the impossible maneuver. I do not know, replied his sensor officer. But I think we are fighting something that should not exist. On Harmony's Light, the Zephrians watched the battle with amazement and terror. They saw the human ship performing maneuvers that violated everything they knew about physics and biology. No living being should be able to survive the forces that the humans were pulling. They fight like the asteroids are their allies, Veltar said in wonder. Like the danger helps them instead of hurting them. Dr. Jenny Clark was monitoring the battle from the Zephrian medical bay, where she was still treating injured aliens. A young Zephrian named Kethan watched her check the human crew's vital signs on her portable scanner. Your people are not even hurt by this battle, Kethan observed. Their hearts beat faster, but they are not afraid. Oh, they're afraid, Jenny said. But humans have learned to use fear as fuel. It makes us think faster, move quicker, and fight harder. Fear keeps us alive. The battle continued for 2 more hours. One by one, the Korthok ships were destroyed or disabled. Some tried to run, but the asteroid field that had helped the humans now trapped the fleeing pirates. They crashed into rocks, or were picked off by the invisible human ship. Finally, only Scarhide's flagship remained. The Iron Fang was damaged and alone, surrounded by the wreckage of its fleet. Scarhide sat in his command chair, staring at the destruction around him. "This is impossible," he whispered. 12 ships against one, and we lost." The Relentless appeared in front of the Iron Fang, its weapons trained on the Korthok bridge. Captain Parker's voice came over the radio, calm and professional. "This is your final warning, Scarhide. Surrender now, or join your friends in the wreckage." Scarhide looked at his ruined fleet and made his choice. "We surrender. Please, do not destroy us." "Smart decision," Lisa said. "Now get out of this system and spread the word. Any pirate who attacks innocent people in human space will face the same fate." The Iron Fang limped away, carrying news of the impossible battle to every criminal base in the sector. Scarhide would spend the rest of his life telling other pirates about the day when humans turned an asteroid field into a weapon and fought like demons who feared nothing. Back on the Relentless, the crew celebrated their victory. They had faced 12-to-1 odds and won without losing a single person. To them, it was just another successful mission. On Harmony's Light, the Zephrians were quiet as they processed what they had witnessed. They had seen beings who treated deadly danger as a tactical advantage. They had watched creatures who could survive forces that would kill most life forms, and who used their strength to protect others. "What do we do now?" Zanara asked Captain Veltar. Veltar thought for a long moment. "We thank them, and we remember that the galaxy has become a different place today. There are beings among the stars who are more dangerous than anything we imagined, but who use their power to help instead of harm." He paused and looked out at the human ship. "And perhaps, if we are very lucky, we can learn to be a little bit braver ourselves." The two ships left the asteroid field together, heading toward safe space, where the Zephrians could build their new home. Behind them, the wreckage of the Korthok fleet served as a monument to the day when the galaxy learned that sometimes the most dangerous beings make the best friends.